was we talked about the GSTR 1 we have covered already in detail. Okay, so we were in GSTR 2. Okay, briefly I'll touch and then go further. Okay, so this is a GSTR 2A and B. Of course, earlier there were GSTR 2 and then became 2A and 2B. So 2 has been over. So earlier there was a return which everybody was supposed to file manually, GSTR 2, for taking input tax credit. So whatever you have purchased, you have to enter all the invoices or for whatever you have purchased and take an input tax credit. Now this return is gone. This is auto-populated from the GSTR 1 itself, because everybody is filing a return and they are mentioning the GSTN number of the guy to whom they are selling. So it automatically picks the data and enters the data in your GSTR 2A and 2B. Okay. Then I showed how the returns look like. Okay. And now we go to the difference between the two returns, 2A and 2B. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, so I think I had not covered the difference between the two returns. Okay, there are two returns, GSTR 2A and 2B. Okay, so why two returns, Ananya? Why two returns? One is dynamic, another is static. Okay, so one is dynamic. So GSTR 2A is dynamic. It keeps on changing because people are filing their returns. Even the last dates have been prescribed, but sometimes people don't enter the invoice, they file late. So GSTR 2A will get constantly updated whenever somebody files his return. If he's filing late, he's entering some invoices which he missed out earlier. So GSTR 2 will keep changing. Okay, fine. But GSTR 2B is a static return. So it gets, does not change once generated. So it gets into GSTR 2 is a real-time return, whereas GSTR 2B gets fixed on 14th of the month. Okay, on 14th it gets fixed. So if I am a supplier, okay, I should know how much credit I can take. So I will take credit on the basis of GSTR 2B. Okay, fine. I will take the credit on GSTR 2B. 2A is basically returned to look into whether everybody has filed the returns or not. Suppose somebody has not filed. Okay, suppose according to me, I have purchased a lot of items, and according to me, I have to take 5 lakh rupees of GSTR credit. But when I look at GSTR 2B, I find only 4 lakh rupees, because some people have not filed their returns. Okay, so on 14th it will get fixed. I can take only 4 lakhs and not 5 lakhs. So I will not get a credit for 1 lakh. Once those people file, then I will get the credit in the next month. Okay, so those people who are going to file later, so it will get populated. So it will keep getting populated. So I'll keep talking about to my suppliers and say, file your returns. So I can view whether they have filed or not in GSTR 2A, because it keeps changing. Okay, so once they have done it, next a month, so it will come into my GSTR 2B. Somebody missed out, so next month it will get populated on 14th of the next month, so that I can take a credit. So I'll be taking a late credit. Okay, I'll be doing some questions so you understand that. So he says, used for ITC reconciliation? Yes, but fluctuates. So for ITC claim, it's the GSTR 2B. So government says there's a cut-off time. Okay, so on the 14th, the GSTR 2B gets frozen, and then you can take a credit on the basis of 2 or 2B and not 2A. 2A is just to keep for your following up with the suppliers, whether they are filed or not. Okay, then includes ITC restrictions. 2A, nothing. So all suppliers who have filed the returns, it will get a full population how much credit is available to you. Okay, but 2B will show some items which are not eligible for ITC credit. Like suppose you have purchased a motor car. On motor car, if you are using even for your employees, transportation or directors transport, whatever, okay, for their, taking them to home. So you are, deployed a lot of cars. On cars, when you pay GST, you're not entitled for that credit. Similarly, for the insurance of a car or for maintaining the car, if you are incurring some expenses, then you are paying GST. So those are the big items on which you don't get any credit. But there is one exception. If the car is having a 14-seater car above 13-seater, so if it is 14-seater and a plus, you are entitled for GST credit. Okay? Yeah.
But for that, the car also has to be, in a sense, be a part of the revenue generating part of the car.
If it is you are a distributor, then you can always take. If it is your business of cars, then there is no bar. But if you are taking a car for the purpose of using the car as an end user, then only there is a restriction. But if you are a dealer in a car, then you can always take it and take the credit and whatever. It's part of your business. Okay.
For example, say I have a taxi rental.
Then also you are entitled. Absolutely. So if you are doing a business of a taxi rental, then if you buy a car, you are entitled for GST credit. Okay. So we have covered that. Fine. Okay. That's, you are right. Absolutely right. Okay. But if you are taking a car only for the purpose of using it for, for your business, then you are not entitled. Okay. Okay. So we now come to GST Act 3B. So we have covered GST Act 2B in the morning, okay, and I'll be sharing that lecture. Of course, I recorded it, but somehow the voice got recorded, but the whole content is not coming. So I'm just trying to collate and again put it back into a video form so that you can listen to it. Okay, but I may cover a little bit. Okay. So GST Act 3B return. This is almost the final return. Okay, of course there is an annual return for people who are having a turnover more than 5 crores. But this is the last return a person needs to file. 1 and 3B. Okay. Now again 3 is missing, but the 3B is there because 3 was scrapped. Okay. 3B is a return which a person needs to file. Okay. So it is basically how much. It's a summary return. How much you sold. What's your tax liability? How much input tax credit which is available as per the GST Act 2B, a summary of that, and then what is the tax due, and you pay that amount. It is for making a payment to the government. Okay? So it's a summary form. I'll just show you the format of that return. So GST is a monthly self-declared summary return that business registered under GST must file to report their tax liabilities and claim input tax credit. So it is for the purpose of claiming the ITC from the GST Act 2B, and the output liability coming from GST Act 1. So even GST Act 3 gets auto-populated from 1 and 2B. But you have to just manually enter how much you are going to pay. Okay? And that is the result of the liability minus the input tax credit, and then you enter the amount and pay to the government. Okay? Fine. So once you have filed your 3B, you can't alter it. You can't revise it. Now, in case of income tax returns, they can be revised, but 3B cannot be revised. So only when you file the next return, you can make some changes there. Okay? But not in this return. So it's a monthly filing. Okay, Nirdi, can you read?
Monthly filing. There is a mandatory return that needs to be filled monthly regardless of business turnover.
Okay, so that line, regardless of business turnover, is an old one. Now up to 5 crores, you don't have to file on a monthly basis, but on a quarterly basis. Okay.
Summary return. It captures consolidated details of outward and inward supplies, ITC, and tax liabilities.
Fine. Go ahead.
GSTR 3B is partially auto-populated, but manual entry is still required for certain fields. The GST portal provides auto-populated values based on GSTR 1, which is outward supplies, and GSTR 3B, which is ITC details. But taxpayers must verify and modify the data.
Okay, you can just take your attendance. So you can just go through, read this slide, and while you are reading, just take your attendance. Okay. And no attendance will be given. You say that it's not been there. Okay. And Chokalingam, what do? You just count how many students are present, okay? And enter that number in the WhatsApp. हाँ, अब आ जाना वो count कर रहा है.
So will 2A be counted for the next month when it's filed? Will it become static the next
No,
month?
next month it will be again 2B will be counted because it will carry that number of 2A.
2A will come into
हाँ, 2A is, keeps changing.
हाँ.
So next month, suppose somebody files, it will get reflected in 2B.
Right.
So you will not miss out. अगर आपने कोई return नहीं file करी थी, suppose I purchase something from you.
Okay.
You didn't file your return.
Right.
Okay. So it will not come in 2B.
Correct. It won't-
Okay.
हाँ.
And neither it will come in 2A.
Right.
But then subsequently you filed it. So it will come in 2A,
2A,
but
yeah.
2B is frozen. So I've taken the credit and just filed it. So next time when you look at 2B, your name will appear. So I can take a credit on that basis. So no attendance will be given only since early morning when people have given their names, okay, I'll take. But attendance will be given only on this basis, no other basis, okay? Fine. And Chokalingam is going to count all the students, okay? And Nidhi is also going to count and you're going to put both the numbers. They both have to be same. It's not like 2A and 2B, it should be all same, okay? But do it after some time. I think some students have left. So, fine. So, 3B is a return, which is the ultimate return you need to file for making the payment of your taxes. Okay. So, this is, certain more information. So, it has, various sections. Outward supplies, please listen. Outward supplies, sales and tax liability. So, first is how much is your supplies? How much goods we have sold and what is your tax liability? It will be filled on the basis of GSTR 1, okay, which you have filed, okay. So, fine, okay. Then inter-sales sales to unregistered persons, then eligible ITC input tax credit. So, this will get populated from GSTR 2B, okay. Then, ITC reversals. So, if you are making a reversal, so it is not getting auto-populated. Suppose you don't want to take a credit of something because it is not eligible to you. So, somehow, it's still been appearing, as eligible. So, you can always remove it. And then the tax payable, which you have, it is not getting auto-populated. You have to just say how much tax you are paying. Okay, fine. So, only the last two columns you have to fill. The first two columns are getting auto-populated, but you can always verify the details. Okay. So, it will basically for your verification only, okay, and others you can just only the amount which you are going to pay, okay, and if you want to reverse something. So, read this, Nidhi.
Key takeaways. GSTR 3B is partially auto-populated using GSTR 1, which is sales, and GSTR 2B, which is ITC. Taxpayers must verify, correct, and manually enter missing details before filing. ITC mismatches can cause errors, so reconciliation is essential. Tax payments and ITC reversals must be entered manually.
Okay, so is that okay? So, it is partially auto-populated. Taxpayers must verify, correct, and manually enter the missing details before filing. ITC mismatches can be cause errors, so reconciliation essential. Okay, so this all you have to do. Then we move on to. Okay, just read this.
No invoice level data. Unlike GSTR 1, which requires invoice price details, GSTR 3 requires only summarized case tax details. Mandatory filing even for NIL returns. Businesses with no transactions in a month must still file a nil return. Late fee and interest. Delayed filing attracts late fees and interest on outstanding tax liabilities.
Okay, if you file it late and you make a late payment, then automatically the interest and penalty will get populated and you have to pay along with the return. So, you don't have to calculate any late penalty, any interest. It will automatically do that and it will tell you how much figure you are supposed to pay. Okay, so the rest you can just have a look yourself. So, what I am doing is I am just showing you the return, okay. So this is the return, how it looks. Fine. So once you have filed it, you can always take a printout from the GST portal. So I took it in the morning. So basically it is it visible? No. So I'm just going to open another file, which is a Word file. I think it should be more clear. Okay, so this is a bit summary form. Okay, so what I have done it, I've summarized it, and now why it is getting little blurred. This is basically the concise summary of GST Act 3B. But I can just tell you, I'll just show her, I mean, the copy what she has done and how she has done her assignment. And I think some other students also. It's all the three, okay, the same. Absolutely the best form I can ever go through any answer, done systematically. Of course, आपका भी अच्छा था, सब और भी अच्छे थे लोगों के, but the way she had put it, very neat, and I'll just share that, okay, on the WhatsApp so you can just go through, okay. And maybe that you might have also done like that, but I checked, the first I checked was hers, to understand what is the answer. I thought that she will do it right, and when I checked, I was finding there's a problem here. Mine was coming 26,000. Okay, and her answer was 29. Actually, 29 is the answer. Most of you said, what is the minimum payment? Then, you know, I checked that there's a mistake at my end. So it was actually 29 and 3,000 input credit. Okay, it was very easy. But since I'm teaching so many subjects, so I got a little bit this thing, so I made a mistake myself. Whereas, you know, all of you have done a right answer. Some students have made 54,000 as payment. Okay, so there was 1 or 2 students who have given wrong. Fine. So it will carry the name of the company. I'm not saying you people have not done. Everybody has done okay. Everybody has got 10 out of 10 marks. I have not deducted any marks except for 1 or 2. Maybe Mananya got the lowest, but she showed me the answer. But her answer is also right. Okay. So maybe that I have to change her marks. Fine. So this is the name of the business. Okay. Outward supplies and inward supplies. Just focus here. Total taxable output supplies 28,85,670, and this is the CGST, SGA, ISG. Okay, all the sales are within the state of Haryana. Okay, so that's why there is no IGST and cess, because they are not selling anything which is having attract cess. Then input tax credit. So then there will be a column for the ITC, input tax credit, IGST, CGST and SGST. Okay. Then because they have purchased something out of Haryana from Delhi, that's why it carries an IGST, and all of the purchases are within the state. So this is the ITC after reversal. No ITC for reversals. Tax payments, so which is basically the tax has been calculated. So you have done your question assignment number, it is the same thing. So you put the total output liability, the input credit, and calculate how much you are supposed to pay. So 3B only does that job for you. Okay, fine. So I'll just move on to some questions. Okay. So I made a new file which is GST questions part 2. Okay. So we are just coming to an end. Maybe this week, next week will be the last week for the GST. Then we will move on to the income tax. Okay. So so this is a question. So I'm making a lot of questions, but this is Ashwin, just इसको थोड़ा सा ठीक करो. It's going out of. इसको भी ठीक लगाओ, अपना जुगाड़ लगाओ.